welcome to the Reluctant Knitter channel. My name is Adrienne, and I am the Reluctant Knitter. This is a channel about knitting, a little bit about my life, because I've done vlogs, so a little bit about my life. And yeah, that's it, I guess. Sorry. I did my hair differently today. I never put it in braids, but I didn't feel like washing it. And so I love it, but I wish I had ended them a little closer to here. We're just going to get real right away. We're going to get real right away. Okay. So they're towards the middle of my head. So they're behind me, which I don't love, but then also with this neckline, I don't know. I just feel like they're laying weird. Whatever. This is what I did, and this is what you're going to get. And that's the thing about this channel is it's a roll. Okay. It's a roll. Anyway. So this is a podcast episode where I will talk about what I've been working on for the past about a month. The last podcast I uploaded was about a month ago. I did Vlogtober. So there are 31 days of daily vlogs, and then I'm toying with the idea of doing Vlogmas, but I don't celebrate Christmas, so I won't be doing any of the festive Christmassy things. I don't celebrate any holidays, so it's not going to be Hanukkah either. So I'm toying with the idea of doing it and calling it Vlogcember. So let me think about it, because I know a lot of people watch Vlogmas for the festive content, and I did really like vlogging though. It was a lot because you have to do it every day and upload it every night. So it was a lot, but I actually really liked it and I kind of miss it. So I might do it. The other thing is I have a couple of friends who podcast as well. In particular, I'm referring to Andrea, who is the cat lady. That's Cate with 2 T's, C-A-T-T, and Aquila, who is the lefty knitter. They both do, and the reason why I'm referring to them is because they both do vlog style podcasts where they film a little bit throughout the week and then they upload it all, which I was toying with because I do feel like I was struggling with finding time to actually sit down and record an entire podcast. However, for me personally, I think I might find it hard to do it that way, where I talk about kind of all of the things that I'm working on. Because I don't know. I guess it's not really, I don't know, but this is what I'm doing today. I really thought that I was going to record this earlier in the week and then just upload it today. Today is Friday, by the way, but it doesn't really matter. And it's Friday, November 11th. And, but it didn't happen, and I really didn't think this was going to happen for me today, but it did. And here's the thing too, is I do like podcasting, but also I don't want to be oh, well, the pressure is too high. Well, if it's too high pressure, then don't do it. Do you know what I mean? But then I also feel I want to do it. I don't know. So what I was going to try to do with my channel is I was going to try to do a podcast once a month and then a knit chat chow once a month, which is another segment that I do where I knit and I talk about something that's been on my mind and I eat. So, which I actually really like doing, but then I get all up in my head and I'm oh, it's a little controversial, with some of the I try not to do super controversial topics because that's not what my goal is. I try to do fun, kind of funny things that I get all wound up about for absolutely no reason at all, but they're not really consequential. So that's what my plan was going to be, but I really kind of just started my channel back up again, and I'm rambling on now, and you guys are get to the knitting. But anyway, I was going to do that once a month, the Knit Chat Chow once a month, but then Vlogtober happened. So I did do a regular podcast during Vlogtober, but I did not do a Knit Chat Chow during Vlogtober. So I'm really hoping to do that this month. I have a couple of things on my mind. One in particular has been on my mind for a long time. So I really think I'm going to try to make it happen. But anyway, that's not what this is. This is a podcast. So let's start with what I'm wearing. Where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram as The Reluctant Knitter. You can find me on Ravelry as Reluctant Knitter with no E in the knitter. I'm not really on Ravelry that much. I do get notifications though. So if you message me on Ravelry, for whatever reason, if you because I'm so important, people message me, I will get it, but I'm just not really on that much as far as forums and things like that. We don't currently have any cals going on. We did just recently have a mal for the knitted knockers. That went well. I was really excited for the participation in that. But yeah, we're not doing anything right this second. Maybe I'll think of something to do. What I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Turtle Dove by Espace Tricot. I'm not going to stand up because I get my camera all messed up. I knit this. I don't have a project page for it. I apologize, but I will link down the pattern down below. Sorry, I have like allergies and a little bit of a cough. I've tested. I don't have COVID, but I may have picked up a cold or something too. I've heard a cold's going around. I hear RSV is going around, which I don't really know, some sort of respiratory virus, and also the flu. But I did get my COVID booster and my flu shot last month, so I hope it's not either one of those things. Anyway, let me get back to this. We can get into that with life stuff. Some people call it life stuff. What do I call it? I don't know what I call it. Anyway, I knit this out of Knit and Crochet Plush. It is all plastic, so it's 88% acrylic, 8% polyamide, and 4% viscose. It is, I can't remember what weight it is, but it's 186 yards to 3.52 ounces. So 170 meters to 100 grams. I'm not really sure what that is. I actually really like it. It's very soft. It was inexpensive. A couple of things about this though is I did knit the collar very high. And so like when I'm sitting down, it's like, so I think I actually might take about an inch out of the collar. I just have it folded down right now. I don't want to take too much out. I don't want to take half of it out. I thought maybe half of it, but I think about an inch out of it. I also knit like a 3/4 sleeve. I don't know why. I don't remember if the pattern called for it or if I was like afraid I was going to run out. I actually think I'm going to take the sleeves out and knit them full length. So that's another thing that I think I'm going to do. But I do like it. I think once I make those adjustments, I'll like it better. I think once I take the collar out, it might sit better. But it's very comfy, cozy, kind of, you know, a little oversized. Okay. I do have a couple of finished objects. I have a snood that I knit for Miss Elizabeth Bennett. I'm sorry, I'm coming to you from Connecticut, where I live with my husband and my 2 children, my dog. She's a Great Dane. Her name is Elizabeth Bennett, and a cat by the name of Atticus Finch. But we actually just call him Kitty. Anyway, so I knit a snood. This is, I think it's called the Doggo Hood by Jessie Wiebe, W-I-E-B-E. It is found on Ravelry. It is a free pattern. It is a formula. So if that's your thing, you can basically knit it out of any yarn for any size dog. You basically knit a swatch, find your gauge, and then take some measurements of your dog. And she has a really awesome, just like little, like form that you just fill out, and she tells you what to add and what to subtract and what to multiply by, and then you've come up with the stitches to cast on and how long to knit it. So I put a little pom-pom on this. I do have a Ravelry page for this. I will link, all my show notes are down below, okay? And I'm sorry if I'm looking off camera. People are like, well, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm looking off camera. That's where my notes are. So if you want show notes, you got to deal with me looking off camera. I'm just logging into Ravelry right now so I can tell you about the yarn because I don't have the thing on me. I really hate Ravelry. Like, I really don't like, what the heck? I just don't like the site in general. I find it very hard to navigate. It depends if you're on a computer, on a tablet, on a phone. It's just, I find it very hard to navigate. So let me find my snood because I thought I had put it. Ugh, this is so annoying. Sorry. I don't understand why it's not linking me. So like, and also I don't know why Ravelry thinks that it's like this, like, I don't know, like super secure website. Like every time you navigate away from it and navigate back to it, it makes you log back in again. Like this is not my banking information. It's fine if I stay logged in. Okay, so Doggo Hood Formula is the name of the pattern. I knit this out of Cece's wool. It was a yarn baby. It's fingering weight. It is, I think 100% superwash merino. And that's it. And this was in the color Honeybee. I also knit my wool and honey out of this. So her and I will have matching knitwear. I was supposed to take a picture of it. I wasn't supposed to take a picture of it. I can do whatever I want, but I was going to take a picture of her and me and our matching knitwear, and I didn't. That's that. Okay. Next on my finished objects was a headband. This is not the headband that I finished, but it's the exact same pattern and yarn. So I actually knit it for my friend. I knit it for myself and I was wearing it and she said she really liked it. And I said, I have the yarn and it's really easy, so let me just knit it for you. So this is a headband with a twist by Mirella Moments. It is a free pattern. I believe if you want a PDF, you have to pay for it, but if you go to the website, it is free. So it's just an English rib, and then you just sew it together in a special way to make this twist. This is knit out of, let me see, I think I did a project page for this. I did. So this is knit out of Knit Picks City Tweed DK in the colorway Snowshoe. And that is a 55% merino, 25% alpaca, and 20% acrylic. So I really like this. I actually don't like wearing it when my hair is down, because then what it does is it like pushes up and then makes this like weird mushroom on top of my head. But I have worn it with my hair up. It would be fine with my hair like this. It's very cute and warm and I like it. Okay. That's that. So then I have some whips for you. Okay, so my first whip, let me just have a sip of coffee, is the Float shawl. I think it's just called Float, by Dawn Barker. I apologize, I don't think that I put a stitch marker on this where I was last time, but I will try to do that this time. I didn't put it. Okay, so I am knitting this out of A Chick That Knits in the Turtle Dove colorway. Isn't that funny? The colorway is Turtle Dove and then I'm wearing Turtle Dove. So this is deluxe sock. It is 85% merino, 15% nylon. And like I said, in the Turtle Dove. So this is a very big shawl. It's supposed to be like 3 skeins. I love it. I love it. And I really love knitting on it. So I said this is my last podcast that someone had made a project page and had called it boring. I don't think it's boring, but it is stockinette. So it can be if you get easily bored. So this is called assigned pooling, and it is just every time you come to a color change, you do a special stitch. I think it's called a floret. It's a triangular shawl, and then at the end you finish off with a long section of ribbing. So I'm excited. It's very cool because it's random, but then also sometimes I like order, so sometimes I'm like, it's too random, because see, like it makes like this circle here, that circle there, and then there was like a little like blank spot. It is not gonna matter in one bit once it is on and all like around your, no one is gonna even see like any of that stuff. So I really love it. Oh, this is it skeined up. And it's beautiful. She also designed a 1 to 2 skein shawl. I can't remember what it's called, but if you go to her Ravelry, Dawn Barker, Barker Wool, I think is who she's with. You'll be able to see what it is, but it's a smaller, if you're looking for something a little smaller or possibly a little more affordable. Another whip that I have is a new whip since my last podcast. I'm sorry, I'm just waiting because we're supposed to have some lawn equipment that we had serviced dropped off today. So it's supposed to be between 10 and noon, so it's probably not going to happen now. Okay, so the stuff was dropped off and I took a little break. but I'm back. So I don't know if the camera angle is different, but anyway. So a new whip that I have that you haven't seen, this is the Mind Reader hat by Tora Froseth Designs. I am knitting this out of, it's a hat. I think I said that. So it's actually ribbed on 2 sides, and then it has this diagonal design on 2 sides as well. So I'm knitting this for Sean. This is being knit out of this yarn that is a Procurement. It is Page Street yarn in the Dove base. It is 60% superwash merino wool, 20% mulberry silk, and 20% nylon. It doesn't have a colorway, so I will go into that story, I guess, at the end when I'm talking about procurements, but this is what it looks like. It's a fingering weight yarn. Did I say? Okay, it's 439 yards, but it doesn't say how many it doesn't say how many grams. It's a 4-ply sock yarn. So this is what it looks like. This little stitch marker is from Charmed and Dangerous. I love her so much. It's just a little stone pumpkin, and it has some gold on the top. Okay, so I'm knitting this on 16-inch circulars. I believe it's, let me look, I'll tell you. It is on a US size 3.25 millimeter. So I'm knitting this in the large size, and it's the recommended needle for the pattern is a 3 millimeter, but I didn't have a 3 millimeter in a 16-inch circular, so I'm using a 3.25 millimeter, and I'm knitting a large size. So it's going to be a little bigger, but it's for my husband, and he has a bigger head. So I think it will be fine. It's actually very drapey. I think it's going to be so comfortable, and it's actually really, really nice to knit on. I'm really enjoying it. The pattern is pretty easy to memorize. Like, I have to look at every other line you just knit in pattern, and then every other row is like a cable. So I have to look at every other row to figure out my cable, but once I know it, it's like I can knit and then knit the second panel. So it's actually very easy to remember. And oh, I was knitting on it last night, and I was like, Sean, I think you're really going to like this hat. It's going to be too big for me. So when I put it on, it kind of feels like, I mean, obviously I can't try it on because it's not knit that much, but I think it's going to be very soft. I think it's going to be very comfortable for him to wear. I think it's almost going to feel like you're not really wearing anything. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying knitting on it. I also think that the pattern is really, the yarn doesn't detract from the pattern, which is really nice. So I'm enjoying that. And that is in my Happy Little Yarn bag. Amy, who has the Happy Little Yarn podcast, she occasionally sews bags. And this is the pumpkin spice bag. I love it. I love it so much. It's like my new favorite bag. Okay, I have another FO that I completely forgot about. This is the pumpkin. It's a pumpkin. I'm not sure if I actually have to put it in my notes because I don't have it written down. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I will put it on the screen, and I will put it in my notes. So I had to pause for a second because Amazon decided to deliver to my neighbor. So Liz was barking. So I looked it up. It's actually the Gourdgeous Knit Pumpkins by Adrienne Sullivan. This is knit out of super bulky knit picks, but I'm actually not sure. Super puff or something. I'm really sorry. I don't know. And then the stem is actually out of this yarn right here. It knit up in like an hour. It's really, really fast. So what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say about it, but I knit this for kind of a knit along. It's the Pumpkins for a Cause. I can't remember her name either. I'm sorry. I'll try to put it on the screen, but Pumpkins for a Cause. So this is pink for breast cancer awareness. And so that's a finished object as well. I don't think I won the prize. I think a lot of people were participating. Okay, so my last whip are vanilla socks. I am knitting these for my mom. I'm knitting this out of Yarn Bee Cozy Toes. This is Hobby Lobby yarn. It is 100% acrylic, and the color is alabaster. It probably has like different, I can never find it. 93% acrylic, 7% polyester. So it is like a self-patterning. This is what it looks like, but you will be able to see it on this. So I did put a stitch marker on here. So this is where I was last time I showed you. I'm knitting these 2 at a time, toe up with a round toe on US size 1, 2.25 millimeter, 40-inch fixed circular magic loop. I think I said that, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. So this is really interesting yarn too, because it's like 2 strands. It's like plied. Okay, so it looks like 4-ply, but it looks like 4-ply. Maybe it's only 2-ply. I can't really tell. But then it's like 2 strands plied together. So it's like actually really weird. And it like creates like this kind of stretchy yarn. It's really actually really interesting. And it's super fun. It's very pleasant to knit on. So I brought this to New York with me the other day. I went into New York City for the New York City Marathon. I was not running it. I was volunteering there. And so I brought this on the train and I knit a little bit on it. I didn't really get that much knitting done on it, but that's that. And like I said, they're for my mom, so I don't really make like a ton of progress on them. I just pick them up when I need something like mindless. So they'll probably take a little while to get done. And that's it. That's it for my whips and FOs. Let's see what I have next on my list of things to talk about. Procurements. So like I said, I bought this. So I bought 2 skeins of this, which is like an unnamed color. And then I bought 1 skein of this. This is also, sorry, I dropped it. Page Street. Dove. So it is also superwash merino, 60% superwash merino, 20% mulberry silk, 20% nylon, sock 4-ply, 439 yards. So I bought these when I went up to the Finger Lakes with Sean. We went up last month. We actually went up the weekend after Rhinebeck. I did a whole Rhinebeck haul too. So I have all those procurements from before, since the last time I did a podcast, but I'm obviously not going to pull those all out. But I did do a Rhinebeck vlog and haul. So all of those procurements are on there. So the weekend after Rhinebeck, I went up to the Finger Lakes. We stayed in Penn Yan, which is on Keuka Lake. And we've stayed there before a year ago and we really loved it. So we went back and we went to this, it was called Windmill Farm and Craft Market. And it's like an outdoor, like, I wouldn't say flea market, but like an outdoor market. And it's really interesting because it has like buildings. So there were like little shops that had like their own buildings. It was very cool. It's in one of my vlogs. I can't remember which day, the 20th, 21st, something. So if you look at the weekend after Rhinebeck. It was actually very cool, and they had food and they had crafty things. Like it wasn't like a super like fiber related thing, but they had like woodworking, they had bird houses, they had wind chimes, they had all kinds of things. So it was actually really cool. And they had a yarn place and it was like yarn and fiber. And so I should have brought that's okay. The woman actually gave me some merino to practice spinning on. We talked, I can't remember her name. I feel terrible, but I also talked about it in my vlog as well. So we talked about spinning. We talked about what kind of wheel I have. We talked about yarn. So Sean liked this. He saw it and he was like, I really love that. And I was like, well, I could like make you a pair of fun socks out of it. And he's like, yeah. So we bought this, and then we saw another skein that was right next to this that looked very similar to this, but it had like lighter background. And I was like, this is really beautiful. And she goes, well, if you really like that, you should see this. So she dyes these. And so she pulled these two out and she was like, I don't know if I want to sell them. So I was like, oh yeah, no, I totally understand, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we get up to the counter and we're getting ready to pay. And her husband was like, oh, did you want these? And I said, yes, but she doesn't want to sell them. And he's like, she'll sell them. So from across the little room, she was like, are you buying those? And I was like, I don't have to if you don't want to sell them. And she was like, no, you can have them. It's fine. You can have them. So I bought these two, and Sean was like, oh, you could make me like a hat out of this. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, oh, maybe like a scarf. Is it enough to do like a hat and a scarf? And I'm like, I wanted this. You are already getting this. And now you want to like make plans for all of my yarn. I was like annoyed. But anyway, he said I didn't have to make him something out of this one. And he picked out actually another hat pattern and cowl pattern that are striped. So I think I'm going to go stash diving for that. So I don't know what I'm going to do out of this. It would make a very lovely hat. Maybe a cowl. I don't know, but I love it. And that is all my procurements. So what am I watching knitting? I'm watching all of the same things. I did get a couple of suggestions to me. I have not watched them yet, and I don't know their names off the top of my head, but I will try to check them out and then mention them in my next podcast. I did watch Mad About You, Madeline. I'll put her down below. I met her at Rhinebeck. She's in Australia. She just did like a whole tour of Europe and then went over to New York, went to Rhinebeck, went to New York City, and then went home. So she's back home. So she has New York City yarn crawl videos. She has Rhinebeck video. And then she has a monthly, I think she does her podcast once a month. And then so she has an October podcast up. So she has a lot of fun stuff to see. So that's cool. What I'm watching non-knitting, I watched Love is Blind. I know one of my viewers, one of my friends who's a viewer also is watching Love is Blind, and we were having lots to say about it. And then another viewer who I actually haven't talked to or whatever, we don't talk, she just like comments on my videos, Linda. She commented on one of my vlogs about it and then went back and made another comment on it. So Linda, if I don't hear from you down below about what you think about this whole Love is Blind situation, I'm going to be very disappointed. So please tell me. It was a roller coaster like it usually is. Basically episode 1, if you've never seen it, it's basically a bunch of men and women, and they go on completely blind dates where they can't see each other. So they have this thing called a pod, and they have dates in the pod. And then if they fall in love, one will propose to the other sight unseen. So, and then they meet, and then they go on like a vacation together, and then it's just like, it's drama and it's trash TV. So it's just like, I think this is season 3 or 4. It doesn't matter, but every season is the same, where season 1, you hate everybody because they're cringy. And then episode 1, you hate everybody. Episode 2, you start to like people. Episode 3, you're like start to root for people. Episode 4, you start hating everybody again. Episode 5, you start to be like, oh, I hope some of these make it. Episode 6, you'll start to really hate some couples, love some couples. Episode 9 and 10, you're like, oh my gosh, I want some of these to get married, and I hope some of them say no. And then episode 11, I think, is like the reunion. So it's the same every time. So I hated people. I started to like a couple people. I didn't ever really get to the point of really rooting for anybody, to be honest with you. And I feel like a lot of my friends felt that way as well. And then they do this thing where they create drama by when they have the couples that are going to get married, they get engaged, they send them on vacation, and then they introduce everyone to each other. So inevitably, there are people there who didn't get picked, who are now with someone else, who are now seeing some of the people that they went on dates with, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're hot. And then it causes drama with the person that they did pick. And it's like a big old mess. Well, apparently this one, there was at the end, one of the women was like, oh, my fiance was always made comments about my body and made me feel fat, and I stopped eating and blah, 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 blah. And it really upset me, and I think it upset a lot of people. And then she was talking about this one situation that didn't make the editing cut. And so she described it a certain way, and then they end up showing it, and I don't think she's going to get as many people on her side as she thought she would. So if you feel like sharing, you are more than welcome to share down below. I'm not sure how much into it I'm going to get because it still really upsets me. I was even watching it, and it's like you have to pause it a million times. Like especially when you like work from home and you have a lot of things that you have to do. So you like have to throw a load of laundry in, or you have to take a break because of this, that, and the other thing. And I was like talking to my friend, and we were watching it at the same time, but taking breaks at a different time. And then all of a sudden I saw it, and I was like, I voice memoed her, and I'm like, I am livid. I am so mad right now. So anyway, if you know, you know, and it's a thing. It's a whole thing. The other thing I'm watching non-knitting is Sister Wives, a big drama on Sister Wives. I used to watch it a lot I watched it all the time when it was like earlier on, and then I actually stopped watching for a while, and this is the first season I've watched in a little bit. So that's drama filled. And then I'm also watching My So-Called Life, which is a show from the 90s, I think 94, and it has Claire Danes in it, and my sister loved it when it was on. I was a little young for it, but I think my sister was the same age as the main character at the time it was on, so she loved it. I don't think it has it might only have one season. It may have two, but it's on Hulu right now, so I started watching it, and it is a blast from the past, and I'm actually really liking it. So what I'm listening to podcasts, I just listened to the newest season of Serial. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. It is, I think, produced by This American Life, and the original season 1 was about the Adnan Syed case. I don't know if you're aware of this, but he was a young kid who was convicted of murdering his girlfriend in Baltimore and has been in prison for over 20 years and was just recently released, but it was really, really good. But they had a new season out, and it was interviewing this woman whose brother and father both died of COVID, and it's actually really good. I think it's only a few episodes, 4, maybe 5 episodes, maybe 6. I don't think so, though. But it was actually really good. So if you like that kind of thing. What I'm reading, I'm still reading Secrets Hidden in the Glass by Cate Beauman. It's actually a good book. I'm taking a very long time to read it because I don't get a ton of reading time. So it's taking a very long time to read it. It kind of felt like I didn't really know what it was about at first, but it's good. I like it. It's about this person who is an artist. She's a stained glass artist, and she kind of gets burnt out. And so she goes to this touristy island, which I think it's kind of supposed to be like a Martha's Vineyard or something. And it's the off season, and she meets the sheriff and falls in love with the sheriff. But then also it turns out she was abandoned as a little girl, and so he kind of reopens the case, and now they're looking for what happened to her mother. So it's good. So anyway, that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. I feel like this is taking me a very long time. It's probably not a very long episode, but I feel like it's taking me very long because I've had to take a bunch of breaks. But I guess that's it. I guess I don't really have anything else to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in a Knit Chat Chow. And I hope I don't have a tagline. We talked about this last time. I don't have a tagline. Other people do, and it sounds really great. And I borrowed my friends the last time, I think. And it's like, I hope you get to craft all the things. And I do. And I just watched Barbara. I don't know if you guys watch Flame and Fiber podcasts, but Barbara has been doing a Corona vlog every single day since the beginning of Corona. Yeah, it's as many as you think it is. It's like 900 episodes or something ridiculous. And they're like 10 minutes long, and they're cute. And I haven't watched her in a really long time. So I just watched her this morning, and she says, stay safe and stay sane. So that's a cute little tagline, but I don't really have one. I'm sorry. Be kind to yourself. I think that's my biggest thing. Be kind to yourself, because life is really hard. Life has been kind of hard for me lately. It's a lot. And if you know, you know. And I was actually just talking to a friend of mine, and I'm like, I have actually never been kinder to myself in my whole life than I have been during these last however long. Because I just feel like things can be really hard. I did a chat chow not that long. Well, it was a while ago now, but it's called It's Hard Being a Person. And so this is what I say to myself and what I say to my friends. It's okay. It's okay to say things are hard. And I think sometimes we get into these things of like, I was just actually talking to my friends earlier, and I was like, I think we get into this thing called the at least game, and be like, well, at least you have this, or at least you have that, or at least you don't have to deal with this, or at least. And I think that can kind of borderline into like toxic positivity. Like, be grateful for the things that you have. And I think that you should be. I think that you should be grateful for the things that you have. And I think that we should, generally speaking, maintain a positive attitude, because I think that's good for you. But also, I think it's important to make space for feeling your feelings. Feel your feelings. Be kind to yourself. Maybe I'll say that. And don't forget to feel your feelings. No, it is important to give yourself space to say things like, this is really hard for me right now, and I deserve a little bit of kindness, even if I have to give it to myself. You're doing the best you can. Your best is good enough. You're doing the best you can, and be kind to yourself. So that's it. That's my little send off. Whatever. Oh my gosh. Let me know if you like that. Let me know if that makes you feel good. Anyway, all right. I'll see you guys.